Greetings, I am Nice.
And I am Scandal.
And let's do it for our own good together.
Yeah, all right.
Just for your very own good, my
Our best
bro,
good.
my friend.
Yeah.
All right, so
As for my own good, after all.
yeah, I bet it is.
If I don't take meds, I might.
Continue being sick like I am right now.
I
I'm gonna be a jerk about this.
might.
Just become a waifu instead of just have the disease. It might express into its full form. It might become married.
Oh no!
And then it will not only be, unknown waifu disease, it won't be just chronic, it'll be fatal.
Getting fatal waifu disease gets you married. That's the
That's it.
takeaway here.
I might. Rena pauses. Whatever it was, she doesn't want to say it.
And I don't want to take any guesses at what it may or may not be, because I would never, ever in a million years, ever fucking guess as to what anybody else may or may not be saying.
As to what anything might be going on at all. Miki still just standing behind us, staring at her, letting this happen. Letting it all play out.
Miki, everybody,
I feel a lump in my throat. Is it guilt? Is it sorrow? Is it nervousness because Miki is standing behind me, hovering over my shoulder?
breathing on me.
Towering over my head,
Man,
staring?
she has some heels today.
Just staring at Rena?
I
don't know. Oh God, are we already into the part of the game where we're examining our feelings for these girls? Is that what that is?
have no idea.
That means this game is very short. If we're already doing that piece, then based on the text of the other games, this game is going to not be that long.
Are you freaking kidding me? They loaded and unloaded and loaded on us and unloaded on us so many times.
But it took a long time before we were examining our feelings for anybody, and when it happened in Yaoi Beast Boys, same thing. It happened only once the plot started really advancing.
I feel like my whole soul wanted to die during that whole game sometime.
Rena. Thankfully, Miki walks around from the back of my wheelchair and stops staring at Rena and breaks the silence. Shall we go, Rena? Rena nods her head. Her
really
pigtails bob
big
cutely.
head. Like, she looks like she should be, like, the adult here, and Miki should be younger. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just the anatomy.
It's like the proportions are weird. Sort of, I mean, they drew more childlike proportions and distribution onto Rena, but then standing her at the same height as Miki because they don't want her to have an elbow in her face.
Yep.
It just looks off.
It looks really awkward.
Let's go, Nurse Miki.
You say with an exclamation point.
That's why I'm like really confused. Her face is,
Let's go, Nurse Miki.
and the other one is,
Let's go, Nurse Miki. Hello. Hello.
So you just really solemn.
Hello.
Let's go, Nurse Miki.
Miki.
Determined. Is determined. Let's do this.
all right, let's do it.
Stab me with my medication, Nurse
Stick
Miki.
it out my butt.
Your butt?
Is it
My butt!
suppository?
Your butt? My butt!
It's a suppository.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you were taking suppositories 3 times a day. I'm really sorry about your butt.
You just shut up.
Miki guys Rena back into her room because you can't give someone a suppository in the hallway.
You really freaking can't. That was the only guess I had, other than basically an injection, or basically like intravenously for a period of time. Like sometimes you basically have to hook up a bag, so you have
an IV.
You have an IV
treatment.
tree that you have to sit there for a while with,
Or
or
apparently a suppository.
Because why else would you need assistance to take
It's a skin
medication?
cream. It has to cover 80% of the body's skin to be properly applied. They just strip her down. Blah, 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 blah. She just has to stand there for an hour in the dead of the room, letting it soak in. I bet they just lay her basically on a bed that's also so it just doesn't, it's a non-absorbent sheet. So it will absorb into her skin.
It's like I'm lying on plastic all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
So, yeah, I was gonna say, usually, like, what I've seen is, like, pills can be taken in public.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, if so she's being treated with something that's not pills if she has to go back to her room. Either that, or she's a weirdly combative patient, and they're going, we need to take you to a controlled area every time. And she's like, okay, I'll go with you, and then she still kicks the hell out of them. But they're like, we can get you because you're in your room at least.
Right.
Chases her like a cat around the room.
God, I remember when I was a little kid, and I just really did not like what the doctors were doing. Because you had to get your vaccinations when you were very little.
Yeah.
And I remember, so when I was going to go to kindergarten, I remember very distinctly the only way I was going to let them give me vaccinations was because I was afraid of needles. Like,
Right.
I really just didn't like them. We went to the school, and I was like, okay, all right, Mom, I will let the doctor shot me. And I specifically remember that, like that was a line that I used.
That's amazing.
And so, we went but I remember also like my mom talking about when I was little, I was pretty combative in the sense of where it's just like, she's like, you cannot hold my child down. Like they do not understand what you're doing. You have to talk to them. And they're like, no, it's totally fine. And my mom was right. I didn't like it when they would start basically trying to control me.
Doing stuff to you without telling you why.
And so I would fight back. Mm-hmm. And I remember hiding under chairs. I remember kicking doctors, and they would get really aggressive. And they complained at my mom going, we need to tie this child down. What is wrong with them? My mom's like, you did not talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
There's
been a couple of times that I've had to deal with doctors, and they'll just do something. And you go, excuse me. And they're like, what? And you're like, you didn't ask me or tell me what you were doing. And they get so stuck in procedure, they sometimes forget that you're a person that would like to be involved in your own care.
There's also the thing, though, too, that we've talked about, definitely, is that kids in particular, even ones like, I think you're sick to a certain degree, or that doctors sometimes don't believe people, they'll just be like, you bet, and they will just kind of treat you like crap. It is actually a thing, and I have seen it, and I'm not talking out of my ass. I know that it still bothers me of being like, running into people who are like, I have been a doctor, I've been a nurse, and I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, wow, because I have been neither of those. I have simply been the child of a doctor, and I have seen and heard massive discussions about doctoral abuse.
And
basically
sort
of patients.
Mistreatment, what have you. I say, and it doesn't mean anybody is bad in the medical field. Like, it's possible, but it doesn't implicitly or explicitly say everybody in the medical field is bad. It just is saying that people are sometimes don't do well in reference to other people when they're doing stuff. When your job is about people, but you have to treat it like a job, numbers and clocks and schedules, and sometimes you don't know how to give the people the regard that they would, quote, need or want because of those other pressures. And sometimes it's hard to balance your priorities of, I am supposed to be out of this room in 2 minutes, and I need to calm you down, talk to you, and explain to you someone I do not know what's going to happen, and then do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a challenge. I watched them disappear into Rena's room. Poof, into the void.
And it's completely quiet. Again.
Utterly
this
quiet.
Game cannot handle this at all. So much dramatic silence.
I know, I was going to say, there is actually no music right now, just because it's so dark.
So dark.
That was interesting.
What?
Was that interesting?
How was that any more interesting than before?
I was going to say, what about that circumstance was interesting? Because, like, to me, I'm just going, that didn't do anything for me. It was just kind of like, maybe it was interesting because Miki just stood there and stared at you guys had the exchange where someone who is a patient, also a legal minor based on the age stated in the game, is telling another patient who looks also like a legal minor that they should do what the doctors have prescribed. And she's just watching this play out and going, you guys both think you have decisions and power in this case. How fascinating. And you're going, that was interesting.
Wow, I can tell people what to do.
Medical professional just stood back and let me tell someone else how their care should be handled. I find that really interesting.
Wow.
Maybe I'm very powerful.
Ooh, I'm privileged.
I hope Rena gets better soon from her mysterious wasting waifu disease.
Wasting waifu. Wasting waifu. It's WW.
I wheel.
WWD.
You're WWD. You're wasting waifu disease. Oh, God. She's suffering.
I gotta body slam her in the back, don't you?
Oh, my God. Well, what's the cure for wasting waifu disease? Well, you have to get married or healed. Only two roads.
Slap.
Be healed. Here's a ring.
Be healed. I will marry you.
I wheel myself toward my room.
We're finally in a wheelchair again. Good to know.
Or we actually have agency in our wheelchair. Then, I see a person standing in front of my door. But you don't see the person standing in front of my door. It's okay. Hesitating to enter. There's someone off down the hallway, which is actually our door, rather than this being our door. And they're sitting there, like, considering and deliberating deeply about whether or not they should enter my room, which they assume I'm in because they haven't talked to anyone. And The hospital knows very little of what's going on. The person just snuck in here and just came straight to my room with no information.
Nobody
and they're
has
considering whether or not to go
pagers.
in. No. I should wheel myself away right now, apparently.
Parents?
I guess I hide behind a water dispenser. Oh
What
my
is
God.
going on? What is this?
Okay, one, don't hide behind a water dispenser. They're not used to seeing you in a wheelchair. Just turn around and roll all the way away. But I need to see what happens. Why? I don't know. But also, you're way too big for a water dispenser, my
especially
dude.
with your damn legs sticking out. Somebody
Alright.
gotta walk by.
Anybody that hasn't seen the Arcana, you need to go see the Arcana introduction, the prologue, because in that there's a huge dude called Muriel that is going to try and hide behind every possible tiny thing that he cannot hide behind.
Yes.
And it will be this scene. It is the giant Great Dane trying to hide behind the Chihuahua.
And you go, this does not work.
And it does not work. Why are we doing... All right, I hide behind a water dispenser. Just
Why?
one, singular. No, we know nothing about
it your
him, so I got
coach?
nothing. Not him.
It's your coach?
I guess.
That would be my guess.
Just when I thought this day wouldn't get any more
Interesting?
Now interesting. Okay, so interesting was negative when talking about Rena.
What?
May you have an interesting life. We're saying with his interesting is used as a negative
Wow.
connotation.
That's terrible.
Okay.
Wait, what?
So when I say that's interesting, I mean it has my interest, which is positive, because I like to be interested in things.
Or neutral. Of going, that is interesting. That has piqued my interest. I am curious about it in whatever way that
I don't
might
think
look.
I have ever used interesting in a genuinely negative way. Like I've used it sarcastically of how interesting, but that means it's not interesting. So
Or you just go, how interesting. I'm just being polite now. Thank
it's
you
not
very much.
genuinely interesting, but I've never
Oh,
used
darling.
interesting as, well, this situation just got interesting, and by that I mean we are SOL. I've never done that.
Yeah.
So, okay, just when I thought this day wouldn't get any more interesting. Why did you think that? Actually, at what point did you think this day would not get any more interesting? Was it before you saw Rena? After you saw Rena?
Who knows?
He decides to visit me. Is it your ex-boyfriend?
It's
It's my ex-boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Oh, damn.
I was dating one of the teachers and we broke up badly, and I just don't want it to, come back and bite me in the face.
Especially when I'm trying to date a nurse.
Especially, I found that I prefer nurses. In 2 seconds since I've seen them, the mythical discussion of nurses didn't do anything for me, but having seen them, I will never go back. And I don't want you to try and mend things,
At all.
Mr. Whomstever.
Hi.
Wait, what? Okay, so we're going, oh no, not him. I don't want him here. No. And then who is this mysterious visitor?
What?
You can't not want a specific person and then not know who the heck they are, I will posit.
I will loudly, proclaim that you are a dingus writer. Excuse me?
I gotta say that this scene just made no sense.
This sounds like we were trying to come up with a question, and we couldn't come up with basically another question.
This sounds like trying to describe an elevator, but mysteriously and darkly to the reader, so the reader doesn't know what you're describing.
Right?
And then eventually you find out it's a cage door elevator, but it had to look dark and mysterious and, noir first.
And then everybody knew what an elevator was 2 seconds later.
And it was fine. That's not an Arcana reference. Oh, all right. So who is this mysterious figure? Anyway, I disagree with that particular path of writing because to me, those previous sentences indicated someone we definitely knew who was and didn't want to see because we knew who they were.
This is ridiculous. You would never... Yeah, it is.
Oh, and now it's a new chapter!
Yeah,
Well, we will be right back once this figures itself out. Well, that was a thing. And the music suddenly returned instantly when my heart was beating like a drum. Music just came back. And now instead of, gentle dooting, we've got dramatic piano.
Wham!
Someone gently rolling by with this, piano on the wheels. Someone just
Making my way downtown, walking
pushing
fast.
it down the hall while someone else sits there and plays it.
It's definitely shit. I can't believe I forgot his name. It's Purple Luigi, and I can't fucking...
Oh my god, it's Waluigi.
It's Waluigi!
Hi, Purple Luigi! Alright,
Yay!
so my heart is beating like a drum. The only thing I would ever compare my heart to, or my heartbeat to. He's here. Do you know this guy or not? Make up your mind. Who is that mysterious person? And He suggests you know who he is.
This is not good dramatic tension. This is dumb dramatic tension.
This is confusing because you keep changing your mind as to whether or not we know this person. Or again, it could be a poor translation, maybe. Maybe the way they're going that person versus who is that person, and somebody going, that person means you don't know who they are. And the other pieces clearly describe that you know who they are, even though that person is just a casual way to refer to someone that you know very personally, and that's why you have permission to refer to them casually.
Mm-hmm.
He's here. That guy who broke my leg. I thought you didn't remember what happened.
I thought you didn't remember either.
And I thought you also didn't know who was at your door. We
What?
haven't figured out who's at your door. So it is your ex. Done. Everybody's got an ex somewhere in one of these games. Isun used to be dating Orochi, and, Astra used to be dating Julian. And, in this case, you used to be dating this guy, and you've suddenly remembered your lost memory. You clearly are the dateable protagonist, because your
Ooh.
memory has come back.
Ah!
You remember who broke your leg.
Like somebody actually broke. How the fuck did the guy actually break your leg? What'd they do? Take a baseball bat? Took a pair of clamps, turned them, grabbed your whole body, threw you in the opposite direction from the way that your leg was oriented, and snapped the whole thing.
So what happened was we were running down the sport field together on opposing sport teams, and we collided into each other in such a way that he protected his body and himself, but used me as a lever/anchor, and it just shattered everything from the kickback and lever action of him running himself into the ground and me flying off into a distance.
Me also
and my
going,
leg staying with him.
The guy that broke my leg! You mean the dude that had the tiny little mini golf cart and just rolled over your leg like an asshole?
Bye!
Bye!
It was the water boy. He just dropped the big
bucket.
barrel. The big, huge, cooler
Water
that
barrel,
always
yeah,
want to dump
water-
on the coach's head, and
Yes.
you dropped it on your leg instead.
Why not? Why wouldn't
Right.
you?
So do we or do we not know who the hell this guy is, and do we or do we not remember how our leg got broken?
Aye.
The guy who broke my leg. I take a peek from behind the water dispenser. The water dispenser starts
His
leaking.
butt looks great.
It's him, all right. I can tell from the back of him, no problem. Even though I don't know who he is, and I don't know who's at my door, and I don't remember having my leg broken or what happened that day. But that's definitely him.
Definitely.
My ex-sport friend. My ex-sport date.
Oh no, he's from another team. We have a Romeo and Juliet situation. He's a player from another team.
I told you he's for another team. He'd have to be for another team. It's
I
not
know.
dramatic if someone on your team broke your leg.
Honestly, I think it would be funny.
All right.
Ha!
That player from the other team. I think this is bad translation of referring to them casually, of, that person, that player. And that's what's happening. And so it is somebody we do recognize, we do know who is, and that one line just translated very poorly.
This makes this.
What's his name again?
But.
Kevin? I say out loud. Kelly? I say out loud. Not wanting to be noticed? I say out loud. Behind the water cooler. The water cooler when you bump into it. Blah, 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 blah. You make a ton of noise over there with this person deliberating in front of your room door.
Right.
Huh? I didn't realize I said those names out loud. Oh my god! Even
you
the
are
game.
you are your own waifu.
Even the game is like, you won't notice what you do, and we won't have to label things well because you do. We have now canonically just been ascribed to we talk to ourselves out loud.
Yep.
Like all those things where we're like, were we talking to ourselves out loud? We were. We were just being kind of weird or a little creepy here and there. Talking to ourselves out loud.
That's terrifying.
And now we've just said both of these names to the void in a completely empty hospital with somebody we don't want to notice us in front of us. The person in front of the door hears me. His head turns to my direction. Can he see me? Through the behind the water cooler, through the clear 5-gallon jug on top.
You look like a goldfish. Blue. Panicked.
If you don't have the kind of water cooler that we're talking about, it is the sort where there's these big blue 5-gallon jugs, and you stick them up on top of the water cooler, and the water dispenses down in them. It's in a lot of American movies and stuff like that. But we have like people from Sweden and Poland and Russia following our channel. So I don't know what the water coolers are like over there. And if you haven't seen a lot of American movies, you really can sort of see a little bit distortedly through the bottle. So if we're hiding behind this cooler, and that's what it looks like because I don't know what they look like in Japan either.
Right.
Then you just have this stretched out, distorted face staring at you with these huge blue eyes. Oh my god.
You're adorable.
Is that what we look like? And everyone.
No, that's your visitor.
No, but he's considered probably comparable age because he's on a sport team against us.
Right.
So that's basically what everyone's hitting on.
Mister, what are you doing over there?
Not being in my room. You don't have to be in your room full time when you're at a hospital. Didn't you know that? I thought you just came to see the nurses, so I was hiding to get out of your way.
I love the fact that they have completely dropped that plot point of going that all the guys pretend to get into the hospital in order to see the hot nurses.
They pretend to be injured and do get into the hospital.
But then, like, they just completely dropped it.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't exist. Like, there's just, nobody's doing that. There's nobody here. There's
Rena, found your brother. He's as pale as you are.
Hey!
All right, well, guys, in the next one, we're going to find out who this young man is and what the drama's about. Young man,
You're a man and you're young. I said, young man.
You're just so young and you're young.
And you're young.
Why are you so young?
Why are you so young?
All right.
Why are you so old?
Why are you so old?
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys, then, for joining us, because we will definitely be finding out, I guess, more
In the
about
next
this
one.
lovely person in the next one, for sure.
Yep.
So, if you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or our Patreon. We got some links in the description down below. Also, please feel free to share our videos if you had a good time with us, something made you laugh, or you just want to start a conversation with somebody, because sometimes we find that we can be good intermediaries like that.
Yep.
Because, you know, it is some things you can listen to somebody else say it, and then you don't have to.
So, using a medium that covers a topic that you feel strongly about or says something in a way that you feel, feel is representative of what you've been trying to say can be really helpful. Please feel free to do so.
Absolutely. And other than that, I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with
you. Bye!